Hey guys, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here, hello.
This is an episode that I have not forced upon you, but it's something that I've really wanted to do, okay? I've been in a rut with my playing for the last...
Yeah, fair dues. Fair dues. I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah.
We've all been there. So please subscribe before we get going.
Oh, please subscribe. And apparently it's not my knee, it's your knee.
Well, it depends, because on some screens there's a little orange icon down in the right-hand side if you're not subscribed. That's the thing you click. On the left-hand side is a big red thing that YouTube puts there, which is not on the main screen itself. So we seem to be a little bit confused about that.
Okay. Just touch our knees.
Yeah.
Just
please subscribe.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Wherever you click.
What I wanted to do is, because I've got some things that I've been using for a while.
Right.
I wanted to have a look at some other, just things that we can use to practice at home, as opposed to just sitting down and noodling.
Yeah.
Things that actually can make you better.
Now, for anyone who really cares about their guitar playing and who does practice and who is disciplined, I'm looking at you, Tom Quayle, and people of your ilk, you will know that the only way to practice is to get a metronome and practice, and to practice properly. But for all of us who cannot be arsed with that, because I can't, if I try to do that, I start doing what you just said, which is noodling. Yeah. I get instantly bored. I'm not dedicated to becoming a better guitar player, therefore I just sit there and noodle.
But okay, so
kind of go all day long.
But a metronome is awesome, but a drum machine is arguably a bit more inspiring, than a metronome. But there is, sitting down and going, doing your scales is great and excellent, and you should know your scales and arpeggios. But then actually having something to play over.
Yeah, it's a different thing, isn't it?
It's a very different thing.
It's a different thing.
Now, the reason I got into this just recently, I did in Mackay, which is in North Queensland. I did a music course up there, the jazz course, and I learnt my chord theory and all that sort of stuff. And just recently I went, I'm gonna start learning some standards in that again. And I went to play it, and it had all gone. Right now, that was 17 years ago. No, oh my word, it's more than that. It's like 20 something years ago now. Far out. That's scary. Okay, but it had all gone.
Yep.
So I'm keen to get that back. To chord outlining and just when you're. Oh, the other thing is I was hanging out with Josh Smith.
Okay.
I was in Germany delivering Josh's new pedal board, and he was doing a clinic at this amazing guitar store called Guitar Point.
Oh, okay, right.
Guitar Point in
Germany.
In Germany.
Yeah.
And it was Josh was there. Kirk Fletcher was there as well. Man. And Josh, so Josh is one of the best guitar players in the world.
Yeah.
He is up there.
There
he
are
is unbelievable.
In the world of guitar players, there are people who are just starting and really don't know anything. Then there's pretty much everybody else in the middle.
Yep.
And then there are people like Josh and Matt Schofield and Kirk Fletcher and Joey Landreth and Mike Stern and Andy Timmins, and all those people who really know how to play the guitar.
Yeah, yeah.
All the rest of us are somewhere kind of in that great big, lovely, friendly grey area in the middle.
Yeah. So I was part terrified, part...
Hang on, Andy Timmins.
Andy Timmins.
I can't honk Mike Stern because I've never actually met him.
Okay.
Who else did we say?
I said Kirk Fletcher. And
Kirk Fletcher. Yeah. Oh, I've already honked Kirk.
Okay, right.
That was about it, wasn't it, I think?
Okay, we have a single
Matt Schofield.
Yes.
And Joey. There you go.
A single honk policy.
Yeah.
Anyway, there I am, and I'm listening to Josh do his thing, and it was devastating.
It's on another level. Sean Tubbs is someone else I'm going to
Sean Tubbs
who is also absolutely killing me when I listen to him.
Yes, I've been communicating with Sean lately, and we hope to get Sean on the show.
Yeah.
We are big fans. So, yes, the gentleman of that ilk.
Yeah.
And, yeah, terrified, ashamed, and incredibly inspired.
Mm.
At the end of the clinic that he did, him and Kirk just sat down, grabbed a couple of guitars. And when I say a couple of guitars, it was a 1960 Les Paul and, some crazy old 335. Honestly, the guitars that place has are unbelievable. And the bravest thing I ever did, Kirk says, "Come on, have a play." And I went, "Okay." And I sat down and picked up this beautiful old Switchmaster. It was an invaluable lesson,
Never to play the guitar.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It was great. But just listening to what these guys can do so effortlessly, and they're outlining all the chords, but there's just melody everywhere.
Mm.
It was so beautiful. So I got really inspired to get in, and because you get to a point with guitar where if you can do this, you can do most gigs, right? If you know a pentatonic scale inside and out, then it's true. There's a lot of gigs that you can do.
Yeah.
The reason that I am where I am with my guitar playing is because I learned all the stuff, but then I was a professional guitar player for however many years, and I never used it. Yeah. Because you don't have to.
No.
Well,
it doesn't pay, does it?
What did you say? There's a picture of someone going, and you just put no money up there, mate. I love that.
It genuinely isn't. For normal people. For people whose job it is to do that, maybe. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's my excuse anyway.
Right, so I wanted to have a look. I found a couple of things, and I thought, this is great. And, so I went on a look, and I thought, okay, let's have look at a couple of devices and a couple of approaches that will, might be appropriate for someone sat at home thinking, I want to, start to get better at this stuff. The most obvious one is a looper. Now this is my RC3. I've been using this in live gigs and that for ages, and it's a Boss looper. It's a fairly simple. The concept behind looping, it records a section of your playing and then loops it over.
Yeah, okay? which is relevant for performance, as you say. There are lots of people doing looping, but the example that I remember is Katie Tunstall comes along, plays Black Horse and the Cherry Tree on Jules Holland, and then all of a sudden every singer-songwriter at open mic nights is doing looping,
right? Which
was great. And yes, she probably wasn't the first, and yes, there probably were other people that did it, but she was the one that got on Jules Holland and did it.
Yes.
And Ed Sheeran did it, of course, early doors, and that Newton Faulkner geezer, he did it too. But anyway, so it has a performance element, which is amazing, and we really should get somebody who's good at that on the show to go through it. But we're not talking about performance, are we? We're talking about practice.
Yeah. So the concept behind a looper. So, I just set up a loop, and then it just gives you the ability, you can just noodle around for ages.
It's so useful when you're trying to get your head around a chord progression or something.
Absolutely.
And if you are running that chord progression, you might have all the chords down, And what you don't realise when you're running through all those chords is that you're not playing them in time, and there's nothing kind of kicking you up the arse to keep going.
Yep.
Looper's great for that, isn't it?
Yep.
And you can just make mistakes all day long and just be completely sloppy with it until it starts getting better.
Yeah.
I keep promising that I've got the little TC one because that's all I can handle. On, off,
Right.
loop, stop. I can't. An interesting point with a lot of this stuff is that if mastering the piece of equipment takes all your brain space, you've completely wasted all your practice time.
Absolutely.
And that's where I am with all of this.
Right.
So I would need to put... I learned some new software recently. Simon's been teaching me how to use Adobe Premiere rather than using... This is a bit of a tangent. Rather than using Final Cut Pro to edit video, which is what I used to do. I couldn't start editing video until I'd done 2 days straight messing with the software.
Right.
And it's the same as this.
Yes.
And even now, I'm about a third as quick on that new software as I am the old software, and that will improve. But you need to get to the point where the thing just becomes second nature, don't you?
Yes,
And that just means hours in.
Absolutely. It's about finding a concept that connects with you as far as this stuff is concerned. The one thing I really like about this looper is, apart from just being a looper, it also has a built-in drum machine.
Okay.
Right? So, if I turn the rhythm section up.
Ah, perfect Robert Palmer, that one. That last one was.
Addicted to Love. Anyway, it's a simple... it's not a complex drum machine, you know what I mean? But as opposed to a metronome, it just gives you something that you can play with the looper. Yep. Which, you might find... which you might find a little bit more inspiring than a metronome.
There's no doubt about it, even though we're making a bit of a ham fist of it here. Just having that... It changes completely from playing on your own, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you were just scrolling up and down through it, it's got pre-defined patterns, has it?
Yes. Yeah.
So you just find one that you like.
Just find one you like, tap the tempo in, away you go.
Yeah.
And you can store, actually, if you come up with loops that you like, it's got like 99 different memory locations that you can actually store that loop in. If you're writing a song and you come up with something, you can, store them in there and come back later, which is really cool.
And equally for performance, if you've got a part that you want to play back, presumably you can use it for that as well.
I use it for that.
Do you?
Yeah, regularly.
I must spend some time with a looper because every time I use it, I can't turn the damn thing on and off in time.
Right.
Because
that is an art.
And I guess that's just getting used to your particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a Zvex did a thing called it's not a warped vinyl. It's a...
What does it look like?
It's an analog looper, right? It's a 30-second analog looper, but getting it to come in time was... it's part of its charm. It would just create this sound,
I knew drummers like that. Part of their charm was, not coming in on time.
Okay.
To be fair, it's usually the singer. How do you know there's a singer at the door? He doesn't know when to come in.
Very good. Moving along. So, after playing around with a looper for a while, I heard about this So we got this last week, and I've been having a play. This thing is amazing. It's but the idea behind this is you don't have to set up tempos or anything. You just play into it, and a band magically appears behind you.
It's unbelievable. I did a demo of this on the Andertons channel with Danish Pete, and he read the manual and had to operate it because I think by the end of the demo I sort of had a basic idea.
Right.
But yeah, so come on then, let's see if we can make it work.
Okay. Now come off jazz for a second.
So the clever thing about the Trio Plus is it learns from you. The loop station doesn't learn anything from you whatsoever.
No.
It just, you play, it gives you a beat, whatever. The Trio Plus takes your chords, it takes your tempo, takes everything about what you're playing and interprets that in order to create a bass and a drum line, right?
Right, exactly.
And you can have that more simple and more complex depending on how you've got the top knobs set. Is that fair enough?
Absolutely. So you have to press down to arm it. When it's flashing red, 'tis armed. Now if I
just a little hint of what it can do. It's so clever. Do you know what I think is clever? Is if you, give us a little shifty a minute, if you play chords that are sevenths and minors and stuff,
yeah,
the bass kind of learns it.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing.
It's quite important to play a root note, I found, and if you have to, if you play fours, it gets the tempo really well, and if you like play complex rhythms, it struggles to learn a bit more. So when you put the first loop down, it really helps just to establish the.
So if you've got a riffy thing, don't play the riffy thing. Play the chords of the riffy thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So if you go, here you go. If I let me see if I can do this off the top of my head. This is going to be a disaster. So give us if you give me a loop.
Yeah.
So I'll start playing a riffy thing. And see what it does, and then we'll go back and don't do the riffy thing, and we'll do the root notes, and I'll show you what it does.
Count me in.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. It got that I was going from A to C to D, even playing from that choppy rhythm. So that was better than I was imagining it. Then what you saw is we put this simple bass thing on and off, so you can have a more complex bass line or a simple one. It's really clever. So I'm just going to do the same thing, but I'm just going to play some chords that have got defining notes in the actual chord itself, and let's see what the bass makes of that, shall we?
Okay, yep. Count me in.
1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of. So it's not picking out the seventh as such. It was definitely getting the major of the C, and it was being very careful not to play any major notes over the minor chord that I played at the end.
Sure.
It's really clever.
Yeah, yeah. And what I love about that though is instead of, you know, grabbing like a DAW thing where you program the bass in, you can just jam on some chords and it will actually, you know, it's not going to get in the way of outlining those chords. Which for me personally, that's what I'm trying to get to. When I hear guys that I really love, that's what they're doing. You know, you do that instinctively. I don't know if you know that you do that. But
what's that?
Your chord outlining. Which
is surprising given that I've never actually learnt to do that, and it's the thing I admire about guys like Joey and the tastier end of the blues players. They really know that. Matt Schofield was the first guy. Joey, Matt. Matt was the first guy to really explain that to me, and I've never got my head around it.
Right.
But I hear exactly what you're saying about wishing that you kind of could.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I still think you do that quite instinctively. Even when you were just doing the solo thing before, you were still naturally going to those areas and doing it, which is really cool. Yeah. Oh, the other thing about this Trio Plus, it has a looper built into it as well.
Yeah.
So that you can build, you know, get the song, build something up, and then
you can store the parts, can't you?
Store in parts, and then arrange a song. It's really clever.
So when we were playing, and I was twiddling with this this knob here.
Yeah.
I think I'm right in saying that when it's green, those are the ones it's saying this will work for you. Orange, not so much.
Oh wow!
I think. Please check the manual.
Yeah, yeah.
It's quite a complex thing, but as Dan says, you know, it enables you to play in chords, construct a more complex bass and drum part that moves on a long way from something like the loop station. For me, even though it kind of crosses the line of complex to use, I would literally never ever use it in a performance situation. So
no.
And people do, by the way, and Digitech suggests that you can and do. I wouldn't, because it would be a disaster. So at home it doesn't matter, and I'd be happy to kind of learn it and get on with it.
Yeah. It does have an SD card slot here as well, so you can, you know, expand your memory and that sort of stuff. But I just, as a way to plug in, play a couple of chords, and then have something that you can play with.
It's really cool.
It's very, very cool.
It's very cool, especially if you're learning new chords and new progressions and things like that to solo over.
Yeah.
Can be really, like, different blues turnarounds and stuff like that. Really helpful for that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Just also, I don't know if we explained this, when we had the loop station going, you were hearing that through the guitar amp. The Trio Plus, we've got the bass and drums actually going through a full range cab, which is going straight to the recorder, so the bass and drums will sound better. They'll sound more like you know, more like they should, rather than going through a guitar amp, which is not the right frequency range for that.
Yes. So, yeah, these two, you can use them in live performances. Now, we're going to have a quick look at these two, not for live performances. So these are only going to be going through the PA, basically out of the headphone.
I've got one of those in a box at home.
Which one?
The red one.
Okay. So the red one, that's mine, and unfortunately it's been discontinued. But it's an amazing device.
Really?
Absolutely amazing. Right. So you have your WAV files in, so that you can, you know, play over songs, but it also has a built-in drum machine and a built-in recorder. So then what I do, I would record myself at rehearsals and, you know, listen back to it, listen to if there's anything really cool that, you know, if Dave played a lick that I wanted to steal, I could basically loop that over.
Dave Gregory.
Dave Gregory. But yeah, I think it's fantastic. And I went onto the website to see, you know, was there a new one? Was there an updated one? I found it had been discontinued.
Must be nearly 10 years ago it was discontinued, I would have thought.
Wouldn't surprise me. I've had a long time. Well, this is the one they make now.
Right.
Okay. So, this is the guitar and bass trainer. So the idea behind this is, you know, your guitar plays into it. So let's just, this is.
I don't know why. I don't know what it is about why when I look at something with buttons on like that, my heart sinks. I did a massive sigh. I was just looking at it. It's like my mobile phone. I had to have while he's doing this, I'll tell you a story. I had to go and have my mobile phone repaired the other day. I smashed the screen and took it to Apple to basically charge me £10 million to change the screen. And I had an hour and a half without my phone, and it's the best hour and a half I've had in a long time.
Really?
And I thought if I could throw my phone in the sea, I would.
Yeah.
And that's what I think about when I look at stuff like that. It's
right.
Man, it just... What I want is some knobs.
You should see the manual.
No. So come on.
So, okay.
Make me fil better about it.
Okay, well, this is... So I would say then that this is not for you.
See, look at this. Look, knobs.
Knobs.
See?
Yeah. If you have a specific piece of music that you need to learn,
yep.
All right, this is fantastic.
Right.
Okay. I had to do a gig, and I had to learn the solo of American Girl. Right? Tom Petty song.
Do, do, do. Can you say?
It starts in A. Oh. That's it.
There's a D in there somewhere, surely. Isn't sure it's not a D?
It might be in D. See. It's in D! Sorry. Of course it's in D. No, I'm thinking of a different one.
I was thinking there's definitely a in there somewhere.
So, that song's loaded in there, right? Now, I need to learn the solo part at the end.
Never met Mike Campbell, so he can't have it.
So we're at the point now, we're at the solo bit.
Right.
Right? So my guitar's plugged in to the unit. I have to go out the headphone jack, and I've got a resemblance of a guitar sound.
It's got guitar sounds in it.
It's got built-in guitar sounds in it. Now if I play, so I can hear that, you know, the thing's going on there. But then it gets to that fiddly bit, right? So you can hear that pretty easy enough. Ah. Okay, so it's just third harmony, right? Anyway.
So what you've just done is you've introduced a piece of technology that's made you not be able to work out the simplest guitar part in the world.
I always thought it was... Anyway. But...
That was the BB King version.
The BB King version. But then you get... Then
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But what you can do then, if I hit speed, I can then slow it. So you hear that. And you can actually hear the definition between the notes. At normal speed, it's... And you can hear it, but it's...
Yeah, yeah. For anyone of a certain age, this will bring back memories of the old Akai phrase trainer.
Yeah, right.
Which was, I don't know if it was the first, but it was the first one that I remember sort of commercially available thing that you could do exactly that with. And
right.
the digital, you know, when it slows it down, you get all that digital artifacts and stuff. Reminds me so much of that old Akai unit.
Right. But it's cool. So you can loop a section as well if you try and learn it. So for that specific thing, for learning a specific song, it's great.
Some of these types of products I've seen before have clever like center cancel, where you can kind of isolate the guitar part or take the guitar part away. Vox did one which had that one.
Oh right,
once upon a time. I think it was a center cancel thing. So anything that was in the center was basically taken away. So if you wanted to play along the guitar solo, it would essentially remove the guitar solo from
right.
the tone. No, I can't even remember what it was called. It was a Vox thing. Came with software.
But the other cool thing about this is you can then record yourself playing along, which for me I personally think is essential.
Heartbreaking.
Well, it's heartbreaking, but you need a...
sorry, Tom Petty, Heartbreaking. There we go. That's obviously why that was in the brain.
But I think you need that level of analysis.
Yeah, you do.
You know, so that you can hear back and actually... Because I do this all the time, right? I would come off stage and thinking, man, I was amazing. You know? But then I hear it back and I want to go and punch myself in the face. It's, you know...
Yeah, yeah.
So the experience that you have when you're playing, then to actually what everyone else is hearing is often very different. And the closer that you can get those two to being in line, you know, I think the better guitar player you'll be.
That is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the reality of that situation.
Right.
Never try. So it's basically a phrase trainer.
It is a phrase, exactly what it is.
So my next question is, doesn't this stuff all exist in apps and software?
It absolutely does.
Because as a little junction box here, if I want to learn something, I just go and find some dude on YouTube who's learned it, and he's going to show me how to play it.
Yeah, there is something. Yes, but there is something to actually sitting down with the music.
Only someone who's paying their correct royalties, of course, for using the copyrighted music.
All right.
Only those people.
Okay. Well, okay, so let's have a look at I brought my iPad along because I want to show you what I'm using at the moment.
I thought it was all going to go wrong with the hardware units. Let's wish ourselves luck.
Okay.
Come on!
Right. Okay, can you mute this because I've got to plug this in.
Right.
So, I was at my dear friend Paul Stacey's house. And, you know, he's an astonishing guitar player. And every morning he gets up and uses this app, right? And I saw him use it. It was incredible. So what this is called iReal Pro. Now, there are loads of, just to clarify, yes, there are loads of other, like GarageBand and all those sorts of things that allow you to record your guitars and do all crazy different things. What I want is very different than that. I just want to be able to play along to something.
Yeah.
Yep. You get this app, right? It's about £13 or something.
And it's called
iReal Pro. So when I was studying jazz, we had a thing called the Real Book that had all the jazz standards.
Oh, okay,
in.
yeah.
Okay. This app basically, you can write out chord charts, but what happens is the app gives you a band that will play the chord charts. Okay, so
it's basically like Trio Plus in an app-ish.
Let me show you. Okay, if I just grab a jazz blues, and then I hit play. Right, so
Some
there's the chord chart.
interesting notes in there, Dan. Dan was, I don't know if you noticed, Dan was actually playing the right notes for some of the chords
I was
there.
having a go.
That was not bad. The
Right.
bass player is pissed.
But here's the thing. Okay, I can go into...
Sorry, that means drunk in America, and I apologise for the sweary.
I'll go into the key. All right, I want to play it in A. I want to change the tempo. I can just,
Yep.
a bit higher. I can also change the, I want a bit less piano, acoustic bass drums, a bit more reverb. So I've changed that now. Anyway, jazz changes,
See,
but the idea is...
okay, all right, I'm just going to say something at this point. All of this
Yes.
stuff,
Yep.
fun,
Yep.
potentially, if you can get your head around it.
Yep.
This, 2 hours, better guitar player.
Absolutely.
You're a better guitar player after 2 hours of using that.
Yep.
I cannot believe that. I've never seen that before.
It's incredible.
Can you tell it what chords to play, or does
You
it?
can actually write new tunes, write the chords in,
Yeah.
give it the tempo. So, that's like jazz medium swing. I can change the sort of...
Oh, bossa! Let me hear the bossa.
This week on That Little Show, Daniel is talking about reverb and some distortion, and we might look at tremolo. Stay cool.
I'm buying that. I'm going home and I'm buying that.
It's incredible.
All of this, I'm going to say it again, none of that's going to improve my guitar playing
Right.
at all,
Right.
because I just can't be bothered.
Right.
I can be bothered with that because I can see the blooming chords.
Yep. Yes.
Chords that I don't understand.
And it makes you think about the chords as well.
Yeah,
So,
I'm looking at that and I know kind of what they mean, and if you give me a few minutes I could probably play all of those chords, but half an hour of that a day, that's
what I'm doing.
Immeasurably better guitar player
That's what I'm doing.
before very long.
It's amazing. Yeah, because so you're playing along, right? And then you get to the E minor 7 to A7, the 2-5 with the D. I'm thinking, then that little, you think, okay, yeah, of course, a minor arpeggio. But it's written out. You can see it coming.
Yeah.
And I normally wouldn't think of that.
There might be lots of people watching now going, are you guys really that dumb? Do you really not know that stuff?
Yes, we really are that dumb.
Him less so than me, because he actually studied jazz.
But it's gone. I say it all went.
Yeah, but it can come back.
It can come back. Doing this,
Yeah.
it's coming back slowly, but I am having so much fun doing this. And I must say though, I have had fun with the other things. The other thing about the songs in that, there's this community, and you go on and just download, there's like 1,300 songs in there.
Do you mean famous songs?
Yeah, like jazz standards and stuff. It's not just for jazz.
So, we just need to be careful that all the correct copyrights are...
Sure.
We need to make sure that this isn't a file sharing thing, like
No, but there's
illegal...
you're not, there's no audio there. No. It is literally, it's downloading the chord charts that someone's written out.
That's still a transcription.
It's a transcription.
Yeah.
Therefore...
it requires payment of fees.
Does it?
To the composer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they 1,300 original tunes.
They might have all that sorted out, by the way, so I don't want to say that they don't. I just was involved with music copyright for a long time, and it cost us a lot of money, and it was very frustrating. Okay. Anyway, blah, blah, blah.
So have a look at this then. Back to the songs. Oh, it's because I'm not online. Anyway.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
There's a Ray Charles song I really want to learn a bit better. Drown in My Own Tears.
Right.
Which, you know, is a cheery kind of music I like. I bet that's in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. All fun.
Well, a meander round, what can you do to practice? Buy a metronome and learn your scales. And if you're of a certain mindset, that might work for you. That's going to work for me. Yeah,
I'm having so much fun with it.
Yeah.
I use this every week. I wrote a lot of the last Tin Spirits album on that one.
Yeah.
The great thing about using that as opposed to just learning it off someone off YouTube is that if you sit down and work out a song, you're training your ear. Yeah, it's probably right. Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's a fantastic thing to do.
Yeah.
To sit out and try and work out your own transcriptions. But for me, I've just finding that thing has been. I sit at home with the Jazzer or an acoustic guitar. I've got that Bluetooth to the little Bose speaker. No setup time.
Yeah.
Turn the iPad on.
That's it. We haven't mentioned that about how to plug all this stuff in. The ideal scenario for any of these things is that you have a device that you plug your guitar into and you can listen to it in headphones, which you can do on the Trio Plus because it's got a headphone out.
Yep.
You can. Has the loop station got a headphone out?
I don't think so, no.
Aux in. No, so you need some sort of guitar amp for this one. This has got a headphone out, that's got a headphone out. So, and this, of course, has got a headphone out. Now, in order to get your guitar into an iPad, something like this, iRig by IK Multimedia acts as an interface for your guitar into your iOS device. I'm sure there are equivalent things for other Android devices. That might even work with Android, I don't know. Excuse me if it doesn't. So, I don't know about you, but everywhere. Does it work on iPhone, do you know?
It does. It absolutely does. It is amazing.
I know the screen's a bit smaller, but, you know, I don't go anywhere without my phone, regrettably.
I use that just because the screen's bigger.
Yeah.
But phone works perfectly.
Well, it just means that wherever you are, you haven't got to take any gubbins, have you? All you've got to have is your guitar, a lead, headphones, and your computing device.
Yep. But no, I'm really into it. I'm really into seeing what I can do this year. Like spending the rest of this year really trying to get it back to where my fingers used to be like 20 years ago. I think it'd be really interesting.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I'm going the other way. Hanging around with Joey Landreth and Andy Timmons and Tom Quayle and Josh Smith and Kurt Fletcher and Matt Schofield and all of these guys. I've given up. I'm going back to playing the acoustic guitar.
Oh, dude.
And you know what's great about that? Girls like it.
Right. That's where the money is.
Well, there's no money there either, let's be honest. You might get bought a drink though.
Right. Do this with me. Come on. I reckon next 6 months.
Alright, okay. Maybe. I need to find some hours. I need to find some hours in my life.
Yeah. Or 20 minutes a day. Just, you know. Anyway.
If I do it before I get up, then...
Before you get up?
Yeah, I could do it then.
Perfect.
Because as soon as I get up, there are things that need to be done.
Yeah.
So I think if I do it before I get up, that'll be the time to practice.
Anyway, guys, I hope that was at least interesting. And obviously one of the, you know, we are really into getting great guitar sounds, but it's, you know, as you improve as a guitar player, it's like when we talk about fuzz. I didn't really get into fuzz until I got to a level of guitar where I could understand and appreciate its dynamics.
Hand in hand, isn't it? The two
You know,
things go absolutely hand in
Yeah.
hand. Sound and playing,
Yeah.
because one inspires the other,
Yeah.
and they're symbiotic.
Yeah.
I think, you know, we, as you say, we sit here every week getting awesome guitar sounds, but they're only any use, you know, when you've got something cool to play.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm keen. I'm
Cool.
yeah.
I'm going to try and be keen.
All right.
And that's not, it's not saying that I'm
No, no.
complacent. It's just every time I try,
Life gets in the
I
way.
fail, and I'm bored of failing. So I'm
think-
all over Homer Simpson. Never try.
Dude, but I think that is simple enough.
Yeah, that is.
You know. Come on, let's do it.
Here's to 2 years of playing the guitar less tonefully, tastefully, and being more annoyed with ourselves.
Done.
And then at the end of that 2 years, hopefully there'll be some improvement.
You know what though? That's so. One of the hardest things is when you're at that level where you can actually play. Yeah. And then you start to stretch out.
Yeah.
It's like you're a kid again.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like such a, you know. But then you start to grow and stretch, and you start to incorporate things like that in your playing, and it just, you know, it can only help. But it, you know, you've got to get over a bit of. I have personally really struggled with that because I used to do this stuff, and then
Yeah.
go back to do it again. It's like I sound like an absolute idiot, you know. But every now and then, it's like, okay, well, something new happened so that you couldn't do before.
Yeah, and you just got to do it.
Yeah,
You've got to
yeah.
go through it. In
Yeah.
fact, I'll finish this with a story. Interviewing Robin Ford once, and he is very passionate about the fact that when you practice,
Yeah.
and keep the practice time for practice.
Yeah.
Once you get on stage, play.
Yeah. Right.
Forget the practice and just play and fall over and go over the edge and do all the things that, you know, you kind of shouldn't do.
Yeah. I love that.
Which is all very well. I think it'll get you kicked out of most bands you're in, but
That's brilliant.
we could try.
Brilliant. There we go, guys. Well, I really hope you enjoyed that. Massive thank you to everyone that's gone to Patreon and has supported us, our patrons out there. Thank you guys so much. Also, massive thank you to our preferred retailers in the UK.
Anderton's Music, and it's Europe as well.
That's right, in the USA.
Riff City Guitar
And in Australia.
would be Pedal Empire Hello Matt.
Fabulous. And finally, thank you to everyone that's gone to thatpedalshowstore.com and purchased a lovely garment.
Or even a D&M drive, which hopefully by the time this video goes live will all be sold out.
That's right. So
But you can still buy them from Anderton's, Riff City, and hopefully Pedal Empire, and of course Keeley.
Yes.
They are. Anything else to plug?
No.
I've got
I
an
think
A-Reg
that's it.
Ford Sierra I'd quite like to sell.
Has you still got your bike?
Yeah.
There
Oh
we go.
yeah. Actually, Ducati 796 Monster, nice condition. Anyone in the UK is interested in?
There we go.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
Cheers, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.